The perfect summer transfer window for Manchester United. Today, we're going to go through the Manchester United squad and decide who to keep, who to sell, and who to buy in the transfer window. It's going to be a big one. Get into the comments below which players that you would sell, which players you keep, and which players you would buy. A special thanks to Good Life Plus for sponsoring this video. Good Life is a lifestyle membership club that aims to make living the good life more accessible and more affordable for you. But best of all, they're giving you the chance to win tickets to watch football in Germany in the summer. So stay tuned to that. But anyway, let's get this party started. So before we dive in, let's set some rules for our major surgery on the Manchester United squad. Ineos have come out and said they don't want to sign any Galacticos, but also they're looking to sign players 25 and under. So they're going to be our parameters when looking to acquire players and bring them to Manchester United. But I think first and foremost, we need to cut the squad down. So let's start in goal with Onana and Bayindir. I think this is two positions that Manchester United don't really need to do too much. Eli Harrison is a young goalkeeper coming through the academy at the moment, looks like a big prospect. In terms of what he needs this summer, it's a loan move to a League One or a Championship side where he can get on the ball, use his feet, but also use his hands in saving shots and so forth. But I think at the moment for Manchester United, sticking with the number one and the number two that they got right now is probably the smart thing to go. Expect Andre Onana to have a much bigger influence as Man United move from the best transitional team in the world to more of a possession-based side. That's what United need to do. Signing players in central midfield and central defence will help Andre Onana utilise his passing range a lot better. And there'll be less situations where Onana's got the ball at his feet and he's got to go long. I think a decent first season for Onana. It was a bit of a rough start, especially in the Champions League. But at the end of the season, he definitely grew into the Manchester United shirt. And he's got the personality to be a success at Old Trafford. What better way to live the good life than to win tickets to watch football in Germany in the summer? The ultimate prize for football fans, it'll include flights to Germany, a 4-star hotel, £1,000 spending money for you and a mate, as well as tickets to see the Three Lions. To win, simply go to www.goodlifeplus.co.uk/Dave, where you'll find all the terms and conditions, but it's free to enter. So what are you doing? Do it now! Entries must be made by June the 9th, and winners will be directly contacted by Good Life Plus. Starting off at right back, Diogo Dalot definitely needs to continue in that position. Manchester United's most consistent player, arguably the player of the season if Bruno Fernandes wasn't so magic with the ball at his feet. Diogo Dalot has turned weaknesses into strengths, and you can see by his profile now that he's very well-rounded. Not only that, it's only the second season that Diogo Dalot's played over 2,000 minutes. This is a big thing. Diogo Dalot, in terms of his age, he's 24, but actually from a footballing perspective, he's probably closer to 21 in terms of minutes played. So he's got a lot of football left in him, and if he can continue to grow and evolve, adding things to his games like his long-range shooting, his ability to run in behind defences, he's going to be a top-quality fullback for Manchester United. Moving to the first player that Manchester United should sell this summer, that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world of football, can shut down the opposition's winger at will, but considering that his lack of offensive play in the final third and composure really causes United's issues when he plays right back. I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's a player that suits a possession-based side. In terms of value, you're going to get the most value selling him this summer due to his contract expiring in the next few years. I do like the idea of signing Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, one of the best attacking wing-backs in the world of football, but he'd probably more play on the right wing for Manchester United at the moment versus playing right back, or Diogo Dalot could switch to left back and you could play Jeremy Frimpong as an attacking right back. But I think the only issue for Jeremy Frimpong this summer is the cost, €40 million. It's reported that Manchester United only have a budget of 35 million due to FFP, so they need to sell a lot of players, and that's why Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be the first player that I'd sell, getting his £90,000 per week contract off the books. Manchester United should look to sign Lille right back Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos is a very technically gifted right back. At 21 years old, will be the perfect understudy to Diogo Dalot. In terms of his skills, he is a dribbling fullback, which would give United great variation. He ranks in the top 2% of fullbacks for dribbles completed in Europe's top 5 leagues. Not only that, he was fouled more than any other player in Liga last season, showing his ability to drive forward with the ball, but his game still needs to be very rounded. In terms of transfer fee, reports is available for 15 million euros. So we're going to sign him for 15 million pounds and put him on wages of around 50,000 pounds per week, the same as Alejandro Garnacho. Not only will United now have a player that's got the ability to carry forward and attack, but he's going to be on lower wages than Wan-Bissaka, and we've made £10 million to add to our transfer kitty. Let's move on to centre-backs. Now we're going to sell quite a few players. We're going to be very, very brutal in this position. But first and foremost, of course, we are not letting Lisandro Martinez go. When Manchester United played well last season, Martinez was playing at centre-back. His ability on the ball, his press resistance, but also in terms of carrying and playing forward, he's one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League at that. Pep Guardiola in the FA Cup final praised him for his ability to break Manchester City's press. A top footballer that's definitely staying at Manchester United. So in terms of the first player that is already leaving Manchester United, that is Raphael Varane, saving Manchester United £18 million per year in wages. Moving forward to the next player that we're going to let go, that is Victor Lindelof. Going to sell him for around £5 million. If you look at his salary per week, he's earning around £120,000 per week, the same as Lisandro Martinez, but more than the following Premier League players: Thiago Silva, Sven Botman, Pau Torres, Joel Matip, Gabriel, Canate, and Mickey van der Ven. On to the next centre-back the United should sell. That is Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's come in and done really well in the last season under Erik ten Hag. He's really stepped up. His professionalism cannot be questioned. But the reason why I'd let Harry Maguire go is because he's a saleable asset now. You get around £30 million for the England international. If he has a great European Championships, it could be even more than that. Not only that, but you're getting his wages off the books. Only 4 centre-backs in the Premier League get paid more per week than Harry Maguire. So the combination of him being a really good saleable asset, but also the wages off the book, means that he's a definite sell for me. So Manchester United are now super light at the back with only 2 centre-backs remaining in the squad. Johnny Evans I definitely would re-sign. His leadership, but also his ability to play both left centre-back and right centre-back and not complain about it, means he's definitely got to stay in the squad. To partner Lisandro Martinez at the back, Manchester United should go to Nice and sign Jean-Claire Todibo, a player that not only has the ability on the ball to play passes into the forwards, but he's a brilliant cover defender. Something that would help out with Lisandro Martinez's aggression. Todibo can be that cover guy, spinning in behind and using his pace. Think a younger Raphael Varane that's probably better on the ball. Not only that, he's going to be on £120,000 per week, the same as Lisandro Martinez, much less than Harry Maguire, and the same as what Victor Lindelof was getting paid. Of course, we need a few more defenders, so the next player we're going to look at, again, is not going to be a British option. I think there's some really good young British defenders out there, Mark Guehi, Jaron Bramthwaite, but also looking at Levy Colwell as an option, but all those guys are going to cost £60-70 million. Manchester United just don't have that budget at the moment, so instead they should go to Serie A and side Calafiori from Bologna. He's a player that's really evolved this season under Thiago Motta in his style. Not only is he a fantastic ball player, he's really good at his duels as well, winning over 60% of his aerial and defensive duels this season. But more importantly, he is a player that understands possession football. He operates as a libero for Bologna, meaning that he moves into midfield and gets on the ball in those tight areas, but also moves into the final third. He's an option for Manchester United, not only to play left centre-back, but can also play left-back. Another real problem position for Manchester United. So Calafiori is going to be covering 2 positions for United, left-back and left centre-back, to allow Manchester United to have an inverted full-back option at left-back to build from that area. But Lisandro will still be number 1 with Calafiori as the number 2. Adding to our centre-back unit, Willy Kambwala definitely needs to be in there. A player that's really raw, but as we saw against Liverpool, has the real ability to shut down some of the best footballers in the world. Yes, he had a bit of an issue with Dom Solanke, but he was left out hanging to dry in that move. He's a player that I like, that's got good personality, that's a smart kid that you're going to be building around. At 19 years old, being the backup to Todibo is a good option for him in the squad, with Johnny Evans covering both right centre-back back and left centre-back. Let's move on to the left full-back position. I think first and foremost, maybe moving Luke Shaw to being a backup left centre-back could be a really good option for Manchester United. I feel like United need maybe more of an attacking player in that zone that can push forward and get into the final third. In terms of Malacia, a loan spell might be a really good option for him this summer. Hasn't played any football this year. Injuries have really cost him. I think a loan spell maybe back to Feyenoord in the Eredivisie could be a good option for a development year for him. So we're a bit short of left backs. So the first player Manchester United needs to bring in is Samuel Leno from Atletico Madrid. Directly involved in more goals in the Champions League than any other defender. Directly involved in a goal every 84 minutes is a ridiculous return. Leno not only can play left back, but can play left wing, can play right wing, can play right back. He's a player that would provide a great utility option. Reminds me a lot of a young Joao Cancelo. In terms of bringing him to Manchester United, it potentially could cost United no money. We're talking about a part exchange with Mason Greenwood, whose price tag is around £50 million. United could use Greenwood to bring Samuel Leno to the football club, and I think that would be a great bit of business. Not only that, Leno isn't going to cost you too much in terms of wages. You could put him on around £85,000 per week. One of the big things that we're trying to do with this team is sort the wages out. Get rid of the players on loads of money and bring players in that are young, that are talented, that are not going to require 200, 300 grand a week. But Samuel Leno would be perfect. In terms of his backup, we're going to be looking to the academy as well. Harry Amas is a player that starred in the academy over the last few seasons. A technical fullback, a player that can play inside, that's comfortable on the outside as well. His feet are fantastic. So not only would Manchester United now have two offensive options from that left back position that could play wide, that could play inside, but they've now got depth and it's not going to cost too much cash. So, into midfield, we're going to do number 6s first. And of course, Manchester United should sell Casemiro. Reports in Saudi Arabia that they're willing to spend £100 million on the Brazilian midfielder, but we're going to put on our little budget a little bit more conservative, £40 million. Of course, the big thing as well is you're going to be saving £18.2 million on wages per season. And considering Casemiro's got a few years to go, that's saving some serious cash. Casemiro's first season was fantastic. His second season was quite poor, but we're going to be moving him out and evolving our number 6 position. Next up, Amrabat. Finished off the season in great form. I wish he played more minutes, and that's something that I criticise Erik ten Hag for. Sofran Amrabat looked really good at the back end of the season. Brilliant performance in the FA Cup final, but with Ineos's rules of signing players 25 and under, unfortunately we're not going to sign him on a permanent deal. In terms of players Manchester United should be looking at, one player that I see linked to United a lot, Amadou Onana. A player that I think has got potential, but I don't think consistently in games he dominates enough. He should be getting on the ball, controlling the tempo. We see him do that in flashes, but for £60 million, you want a player that's ready to go to dominate the Premier League. Yes, he's got the height. Yes, he adds physicality, but I just don't want to be ripped off by Premier League clubs anymore. So we're going to go to Europe. And our first stop on our European tour is Youssouf Fofana from Monaco. Cheap, £25 million. Youssouf Fofana's a really interesting player. When he plays as a number 8, a little bit more aggressive, he's quite chaotic. He carries through, he bounces off tackles, he gets into the final third, he tries little things, he tries little flicks, he tries to get his teammates in. But as a number 6, he's one of the most calm number 6s I've seen in a long time. Ranked second in Liga for progressive passes last season, but also in terms of winning duels. He won 63% of his duels last season, showing not only can he win the ball back, screening a defence, but he's very calm. What I like about Fofana is he's quite good with the bounces. When players play him into feet and he's got pressure, he'll play one touch to come off. But he's also got the ability to get himself on the half turn and play those progressive passes to his teammates. He'll be a massive option for Manchester United at defensive midfield, and for just £25 million, that's an absolute tap-in. Manchester United need more depth at number 6, so that is why we're going to sign Matthias de Ligt from Belgium. In terms of his style, he's a lanky defensive midfielder. He kind of reminds me of your classic Belgian midfielder that's coming through at the moment. Think Charles de Ketelaere, very technical, excellent on the ball, quite a lanky frame. But different from Ketelaere, he is a number 6, a player that controls the tempo, that's got a really good range of passing in terms of switching the play, moves well off the ball, finds pockets of space to get on there, but dictates the play. And his statistics in Belgium this season, playing for a team that finished 9th, are very, very impressive. He was 5th for passes into the final third, 7th for progressive passes, 6th for tackles plus interceptions, and 7th for ball recoveries. All great statistics, but the more importantly, he's going to be cheap. Only around 10 million euros, and we're going to put him on wages of around £50,000 per week, putting him in our lower bracket. Big potential for the future. So let's move on to our number 8s and number 10s for our squad. I think we've got to clean out first. That's Christian Eriksen being released on the free transfer. Both leaving on free transfers just to save the wages. Kobbie Mainoo, of course, is the undisputed number 1 as a number 8. His ability on the ball, his goals this season have been fantastic. Scott McTominay as well will be pushed to number 10. I think his goals this season have been very good. He's bailed Man United out in a number of different games. 10 goals and 3 assists. Having him in and around the squad is very important. Manchester United youth player coming through, you continue with him in that area. So let's look at who we're going to sign. Manchester United should sign potential in this position, be it Desiree Doué at Stade Rennes, or alternatively Enzo Milo at Stuttgart. Milo's a player that plays wide right, that plays attacking midfield, that plays on the left, but also plays in central midfield as an 8. Would be a really good project player for United to grow and to build. Also, with Kobbie Mainoo being the undisputed number 1, it would take the pressure off. Could cover in those positions. But I think Desiree Doué has probably got a little bit more talent, available for £35 million. His ability on the ball is simply sublime, can carry through pressure, has scored a number of brilliant goals playing on the left wing for Stade Rennes this season, showcased against Toulouse where he picked the ball up on the left wing, beat his opponent 1v1 and scored an absolute banger. Top talent, and could play a number of positions for Manchester United as an 8 on the left wing, as a number 10, but would be a flexible central midfielder for United to really grow around. Of course, Bruno Fernandes stays at Manchester United. Similar with Mason Mount. Obviously, we've not seen enough of Mason Mount. Maybe Mason Mount plays more as a number 8 next season when United need to have more ball players in that zone, but also is available to play number 10. Again, Manchester United building a squad where players can play a number of different roles is very, very important going forward. Moving on to the right wing, in simple terms, both Jadon Sancho and Antony need to be sold. Antony ranked in the bottom 3% of wingers in the Premier League for goals per game, but also ranked in the bottom 12% for assists per game. Semi-decent in a defensive sense, but for 200 grand a week, Manchester United need to sell at a cut price as well. We're not talking getting the £80 million back that United spent, but more closer to 30. Similar with Jadon Sancho, horrible attitude, struggled in the Bundesliga at Dortmund. Man United should really cash in a Jadon Sancho, and again, saving a massive amount of wages, £10 million per year, selling him for around 35 million makes a lot of sense. So we've got no players that can play on the right hand side. Of course, Mason Mount could do a job out there, but I think for Manchester United, Alejandro Garnacho being the starter out there is a really good move. Garnacho's impact on the right wing has been fantastic and seen by his performance in the FA Cup final. Scored a brilliant goal and was involved in the second, creating that option on that right wing. Of course, joining him on the right wing is Amad Diallo, finished the season in great form and should have played a lot more minutes. He's a player that I feel really can grow into the role, with Garnacho potentially playing on the left in certain games and Amad on the right. There's a lot of options for Manchester United, and at just 21 years old, he has got massive potential. Moving to the left wing, I think Manchester United should again not go into the market, but should use youth. Ethan Williams is a player that I really like, that's got top potential in terms of creating and making things happen, but also an absolute dog off the ball. Against the ball, he's aggressive, squeezes the play, presses really well, and's got massive amounts of talent. Of course, Marcus Rashford would start at the undisputed number 1, but Ethan Williams being in and around the first team is very, very impressive. But in terms of the stats, Ethan Williams has been fantastic this season. 17 goals and 9 assists in 35 appearances, and a goal and assist every 66 minutes in the under-18s Premier League. A lot of talent, and that's exactly what Manchester United should use. In terms of Michael Olise, that's someone that we've not spoken about in this attacking unit. Obviously, the right wing would be the position that he'd play. But again, Manchester United need to be not ripped off by Premier League teams. United could have bought him from Reading years ago, and they should have done. They missed out. But signing him now for Crystal Palace for around £60 million is a waste of money, considering what Garnacho and Amad Diallo could do from that position. Which means, again, United could balance the books. They're not going to get ripped off by Premier League teams, and thus in future markets are going to be in a much better position. Talking about the centre-forward position, Anthony Martial is getting released on a free transfer, saving Manchester United an additional £13 million on wages. In terms of that striking position, there's a lot of talk about Man United need to get an older striker, a striker with experience to compete with Rasmus Højlund. Quite frankly, that hasn't really worked out for United. We think about the players that United have brought in as a 9 in the latter stage of their career. They usually have one good season and then they massively drop off, be it from injuries with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Of course, his first season was brilliant, but then didn't really play for United again following that knee injury, or form in like a Cavani or even a Falcao that completely failed. When you're looking at the market, Guirassy probably the player that stands out at Stuttgart. But at 28 years old, he's going to be wanting to play week in, week out. He's also going to cost a lot of money at wages, which is what happens when United buy these older players. They're on like 300-400 grand a week. United need to stop doing that. They need to stop messing around. So, in the striking position, we're not going to buy anyone. We're going to internally promote. And that is a big thing that I think United need to continue. And this time, we're going to bring Ethan Wheatley in from the academy, a player with supreme quality. In terms of profile, Ethan Wheatley reminds me of a young Joshua Zirkzee, a player that likes receiving the ball into feet off the line, can turn, can play, can drift out wide, but is an absolute finisher in the penalty area, scoring a goal every 74 minutes for Manchester United youth sides this season, and that jumps up to a goal involved every 59 minutes if we include assists. Not only will it create a pathway for young players to see, but Man United seem to produce attacking players over the last few seasons. So someone like Wheatley as a 9, Williams on the wing is what United need to do. The worst that could happen with those two players, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, they create a saleable asset. But I think those two players have the talent to play in the first team for Manchester United. So in conclusion, we're going to be getting rid of 11 players, raising £150 million in transfer fees, as well as reducing the ridiculous £198 million annual wage spend by 53%. We've brought in 7 players for £148.5 million, leaving United's initial budget, which is reported £35 million, still to spend if needed. We're promoting 4 academy graduates into the first team properly, Willie Kambwala, Harry Amas, Ethan Williams and Ethan Wheatley, focusing on youth. Manchester United squad is an absolute mess still. Get into the comments below which players you'd sell, which players you'd buy, and who are you going to keep? I've been Statman Dave. Make sure, of course, to get involved in the competition with Good Life we mentioned before. Tickets in Germany to watch football. Get involved with that, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel.